2025. First thing first, let me know y'all thoughts on today's new episode down below. Look, let me get my notes together. Because we got to talk about it. I know exactly who I want to start with. Tomas. We got to start with Tomas. Hold on, let me see. Let me turn this off first, y'all. Let me go to settings. Hold on, y'all. Give y'all time to come up in here. Okay, like I said, first thing first, let me know y'all thoughts on today's new episode. And I know firsthand who I want to talk about. Tomas. Spoiler alert, if you didn't watch the episode, Kat done gave it up. She done gave it up. I said, no. I was really hoping she walked away like Eva. When she was talking to him, I said, she gonna walk away like Eva. I said, yeah, both of them need to leave him. He ain't gonna have no choice but to choose. But no, she don't slept with him. I said, no. Then she looked like she regretted it. I don't know, though. We gotta wait to see Monday. But so far, it looked like she was just laying there looking at stuff. I said, what he called? Is it narcissist? He a manipulator. That's what I'm going to say. Now, at first, y'all know we were saying how it was going to be a little triangle. It still look like it's going to be a little triangle. How do y'all feel about Tomas now after this episode? Because I know I can't be the only one that thinking he want both of them. I don't know. Let me know. I said, what is he up to? I feel like he just manipulated the mess out of Kat. How he sit up here? Hold on, wait. Let me see. Let me give y'all a quick summary right fast. I said, Kat did it, y'all. She slept with Tomas, and she didn't look happy. I said, I was really hoping that she walked away like Eva. He flipped everything on her. He said he wonders, sometimes I wonder, if me and you only together because you like me or because you think Eva does. I said, how that work? Did she meet you first when they involved first or whatever they had going on? But yeah, that's what he said. She was like, I can see why you would think that. I said, no. I said, she gonna fall for it. They start kissing this stuff. I said, dog, she gone. I said, she gone, y'all. She is gone. Aside from that, Haley was being nosy still. And I said, it looked like Bill's starting to put two and two together because she made a comment. She said something about nobody can pull a fast one over my husband. And he looked at her. And I was like, is he starting to figure out that she up to something? Because she clearly up to something. But what I want to know, oh wait, and the last thing is that Pamela wanted Danny to sign a modeling deal. What I want to know is about that photo. Who do y'all think that is on that photo? Do y'all think it's connected to Haley? Or do y'all think it's connected to somebody else on the show? At one point, I was thinking it was Terrell and Samantha. Because it looked like a little boy and a little girl. I could be wrong. I don't know. Because it's scratched out so you can't see it. Then when they showed the scene where June was talking to Naomi at Orphan Jeans or whatever, and Haley walked in, I was like, maybe it's connected to her. I don't know, y'all. But yeah, let's talk about this. Danny and Nicole. Danny was just checking on Nicole, trying to see how she doing with everything. And she was just saying how she's concerned about Martin. They was talking about that. Let's see. Nicole ends up revealing that, she had to handle Leslie or whatever. And Danny was shocked. She was saying how she's surprised because that's something she would do, not Nicole. And they were just talking about that stuff. Nicole ends up saying that Leslie had to come in. What else? Was that all they was talking about? Oh, she said she had to go off on Bill, too. And they was just talking about everything that happened. Let me see. Was it something else they talked? There wasn't nothing going on there. I'm ready to get to the Tomas part. Hold on, y'all. Let me see who next. Chelsea and Kat was talking about Eva and Tomas. Because at first, Chelsea thought she was talking about Ted. She was like, Ted and, what's her name? Eva. Hold on. But she explained to her, no, that's not what's going on. She talked about she walked in the hotel room and seen Tomas there. And Chelsea asked the same thing Martin asked. Was they in bed together? Did you see them, cheating or whatever? And I'm confused now. I said this yesterday, though. They said they wasn't exclusive. Another episode, they said they was exclusive. Now, today's episode, when Tomas was talking to Kat, he said something about, are we only together because, you like me? Or are we together because, Eva like me? And I said, I thought y'all said y'all weren't exclusive. Y'all confusing me now. But yeah, Kat was just telling what she saw or whatever. And Chelsea was saying how, they need to talk. So that's what she called Tomas over there. Might as well go and talk about him. Let me see, where it is. Might as well go and talk about him. The whole scene before they end up sleeping together, he manipulating the mess out of her. First, she was defending herself. She was speaking up for herself. Hold on. She started out right in a sense. Now, it's something she was saying, the way she was talking to him, I was like, he gonna leave you again, go back over there with Eva. I said, he gonna leave you again, girl, hold on. It was the way she was saying it, the way she talked, you would think that she was gonna stand on business. Ain't that what they say? You really thought she was gonna stand on business. But yeah, Let me see. I gotta find it. I think. Wait, I skipped the part about Chelsea and Kat. Kat said she doesn't plan on handing Thomas over to Eva. And I said, wait a minute now. I said, I think he already made his choice. I said, you kind of like saying what he just said. She told me she don't want to hand him over to Eva. I said, I don't think that's how they're supposed to work. But yeah, she called him over. He came over. He said at the gate, he said, I just needed time to figure out what to say. She said, what? She said, you supposed to be the one contacting me. I said, exactly, because y'all supposed to be in a couple or whatever y'all had going on. You done walked in here, he's standing up there like he don't know what's what. He's standing up there looking guilty. He's standing up there looking guilty and stuff. They gonna say nothing going on between them, just friendship. I said, liar. I said, liar. Hold on. Yeah, y'all remember, I always quote this. The Walking Dead, where the governor had Hershey on the ground and Rick was talking about them joining forces and stuff, and he was like, liar. He whispered it, and then he cut his neck. Yeah, I said, liar. I said, he lying. Yeah, he told myself, I just needed time to figure out what to say and stuff like that. He was like, I didn't sleep. I'm gonna let you know straight up. I didn't sleep with Eva, but you wanted to. Tell myself, but I gotta say, y'all, you and your family not being fair to her and stuff like that. And I was like, you ain't. I said, you ain't supposed to say that. You gonna make her even more upset. So she started saying, like, basically she has valid reasons for being upset, and she don't understand why he can't see that, so they going back and forth and stuff like that. And he started lying. He told my son, there's nothing going on between them, because she wanted to know what's going on, because she didn't want to be involved with him if he involved her sister. So he was like, what you walked in on was nothing. It was only friendship or whatever. I only feel friendship for Eva. I said, he just lied, still out there lying like it wasn't that. Then what he said, he started flipping on her again, talking about something. Actually, I think your feelings for me is the one that's unclear. And I said, Tomas, you a player, ain't you? I said, you a player, ain't you? But yeah, I had wrote at the top of the page. I said, don't fall for her, Kat. Eva put 2 and 2 together. You need to as well. I said, she did all that talking. Then sit up there and lay it up with this man. But yeah, Tomas says he wonders if Kat and him together because she like him or because she think Eva does. And she was like, how did you get that from that? And she was like, she's now involved with him because that she actually like him. In fact, did she say she was crazy about him? She said she never felt that way before. She loved the way he makes her feel, and she crazy about him. I said, she about to go. I said, she about to go. We done lost her. I said, we done lost her. She go, y'all. But yeah, so they just going back and forth, stuff like that. What did he say? Thomas said she had to send her what he want. I don't know what that means. What did he say? I said, Thomas said she's the center. She at the center of what he want. Ain't that what he said? What did he mean by that? That made me think he got an agenda or something. Yeah, that made me think he had an agenda. Hold on, y'all. But yeah, they were still talking about the same thing. She wanted to know how he feels. He ain't said what she said, but Kat said she doesn't understand why Thomas feels this way. Tomas feels this way or whatever. That's when she got to talking about how he makes her feel a way she's never felt. She crazy about him. She be wanting to say she love him. She be wanting to say it so bad. She almost did one time. So then, I think that's when they start kissing and stuff. Let me see. Let me flip it over. Yeah, they start kissing and stuff. Next thing you know, they sit up here, they kissing, and he start taking her clothes off. She start taking his clothes off. I said, she's a gunner. I said, she go, y'all. She don't sit up here and fail for this crap. I said, oh my goodness. He gonna go over there and sweet talk Eva next. Hopefully she don't fall for it. Because I think, what's her mama name? What's the crazy lady name? Leslie. So we talking to her or whatever. I said, dog. I said, the whole scene, I'm like, I'm gonna start with him. I said, he manipulating her. Hold on, let me see. Today's episode, you guys. She asked was tomfoolery. I got sick of Willow blaming Nina for everything. I won't say you the first person who said you sick of that, because I've been seeing a lot of people say Nina had that coming. I'm like, Willow, boo, no one told you to throw away your marriage and your kids. You did that. Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. Exactly. Who we got next? Let me see. Let me flip back to the front. And also, I spoke and asking y'all, for the people that watched this episode, Beyond the Gates, and y'all wanted Tomas with Eva, or if you wanted him with Kat, do y'all still feel the same way? And do y'all feel like he manipulated Kat? Is that the right word I'm using? I don't know. But yeah, let's see what's next. Haley had walked in and she tries to tell Bill something, but he said he had to go. He ends up leaving. That's when she went to Orphan Jen's and decided to talk to Naomi and try to get information. I said, Naomi, you better not say nothing. I said, don't do it. Then with Nicole, I was saying the same thing because the kids was asking her what's going on. I said, look, don't you prove for a second time why they don't tell you nothing. Don't you tell them nothing. They over here trying to get information out of her. I said, don't you do it, girl. But yeah, Haley wanted the information out of Bill, but he said he has to go. He ends up leaving. June and Naomi was talking. I said, did she try to pay with fake money? I was looking at it. I was like, is it in another currency? Look, I was trying to figure it out. I said, was she trying to pay you fake money? But Naomi ends up giving the card to the waitress. So she paid for it or whatever. That's when Haley came in. And I was like, do y'all think they actually gonna go with the storyline where Haley is June's daughter or connected to her or something? Let me know. Let's see. Where else we at? Haley started talking to Naomi. She wanted to know if Bill murdered somebody. And she just asking her questions. And Naomi like, you need to talk to your husband. I don't know anything. And even if I did, that's the conversation you need to be having with him. And they was talking about that. Nicole ends up meeting up with the kids because she felt like, a lot been going on. So she ends up reminding them that they are loved and stuff like that. They start trying to play matchmaker. They want her to talk to Smitty to convince what's his name? Martin to come back home. And she was like, they need time to work things out. That's when they start fishing for information. They was like, we know that they didn't tell us everything. So will you tell us? But she didn't tell them nothing as of right now. Hopefully she don't. Let's see. What else happened? Let me see. Let me scan down. We already talked about Kat over here done fell for Thomas. I keep calling this man Thomas. Tomas foolishness, y'all. Nicole reminds the kids they are loved. We talked about that. Simone, I just be giving these people names. I'm looking at it. I don't call this girl Simone. Samantha wanted Nicole to talk to Smitty and to let Martin come back home. Pamela want to know what's going on with Martin, and that's when Danny told her to mind her business. She didn't tell her that for real, but basically, y'all. What else? Hold on. We talked about this. I wrote a lot about Tomas, y'all. Pamela ends up talking to Danny, saying that she was right, that she is the answer for their modeling agency. They got 2 fashion houses that's ready to offer contracts. Danny still has her doubts. She was talking about how, she done got older. Her figure's not the same. Her looks aren't the same. And she was like, your figure is not why you quit. The way you look is not why you quit. Your age is not why you quit. You quit because of Bill. You quit because Bill wanted you to. He wanted you to be on his arm. I was thinking the same thing. I was like, the problem is, because she was saying that at the beginning of this series, she said how she gave it up because Bill wanted her to. And she warned Haley that he was going to want the same thing for her. But yeah, she was just telling her that. So she was like, she brought back up. That's when she came out with Andre. Andre gave her a photo shoot. Now these two, at the end of the episode, finna do what they do. Sleep together. Finna do what they do. Then he on next week's episode over here dancing and stuff with Ashley. And also, he's supposed to be at Vernon and them house. And she like, tell me you're not asking my father for my hand in marriage or whatever. I said, I don't think he doing that. I would hope not. But I don't know. But yeah, I was like, Danny, you done lost him. Look like you done lost him. I don't even know if you really fully had him. But he's a gunner. He over here dancing with Ashley. He over here dancing with Ashley. They getting all close. They about to kiss and everything. No, I don't know what they about to kiss. I was just saying that, y'all. But let's see what else. Tomas, we talked about him. Haley reveals to Naomi that she heard Nicole and Bill arguing. So whoever said that she was eavesdropping, y'all was right. She was. She said she heard about that. She heard about the murder part. She wanted to know what's going on. She refused to believe that her husband is a murderer. I said, look, yeah. I said, he ain't no murderer specifically, but he a murderer through connection, whatever it's called. Excuse me. I said, whatever it's called, yeah. Then, let's see. She just kept questioning her and stuff. I done lost my place. Where it at? I think Naomi told her to go talk to her husband to find out things. She was talking about I don't see how we was ever friends and stuff like that. And Naomi agreed with her. So they were talking about that. Jacob came in saying that he got the address from June's photo or whatever. So she plans on going next week to see whoever it is. I don't think it's going to be somebody connected to one of these folks. Well, obviously. Who do y'all think? I know some people said Haley. Somebody said, y'all know at first I was saying that she was Barbara, but yeah, y'all pointed out that she too young to be Barbara. Somebody said it could be her daughter. Then I started to wonder about Terrell and what's her name, Samantha. If they was connected, could they been showing them more lately? But I don't know. We'll see. Let's see what else. Haley want to know what Nicole and him were arguing about. She goes to confront Bill. he was like, he can't tell her. He kept telling her he can't tell her anything. He gave her some information. He was like, it was something that happened 2 years ago. He just helped out with it, but he never murdered anybody. He don't have to do that type of stuff. He could just get he basically said, I could just get somebody to do that. I ain't gotta lift a finger. I said, that don't help. That's not a good, whether you did it or you sit up here and told somebody to do it, you still connected. You still had something to do with it. Hold on. I said, you're still connected. But yeah, and she kept on. But then she just stopped. She just stopped. And I said, she don't want him to figure out that she hiding. So she said, let me calm down. Let me calm down, because I am keeping a secret. She gonna sit up here and say, no one's pulling anything over my husband. And she like hugged him or whatever. And Bill looked at her sideways. And I was like, yeah, what was that about? I said, yeah, what was that about? But yeah, the last thing was that Cat slept with Tomas. She was laying in bed with him or whatever. He was rubbing all on her arms, kissing her and stuff. And she just looking. And I said, I don't think she pleased, sir. I don't think she pleased. I don't know what that look was about though. But I said, you done messed up now. He knew what he was doing. Somebody said they think Tomas, well, at the beginning of the series, they said they think Tomas was, what do they call them people that be spying on people? That he was sent there to spy on Bill. He do be interested in Bill. He always be like, where's Bill? And stuff like that. So I don't know. We'll see. And then Bill got him spying on his kids and stuff. I'm saying he up to something now. I'm saying he up to something. I'm always saying that about somebody. But after today's episode, I was like, yeah, we got our eyes on you, buddy. We got our eyes on you. But I think that's it, y'all. Let me scan it. Let me make sure I cover everything. I think the main thing I really wanted to talk about was Tomas. Because he just flipped everything on her. Hold on, let me see if anybody else commented. I don't think so. Let me see. Yep, that's it, y'all. That's it. What did y'all think of today's episode? Let me know down below. Stay tuned for the next review. Until next time, deuces. Have a great rest of the day and be safe.